This is Dr. Michael Kachmar, and this is Lifeguards Off Duty with Dr. Michael Kachmar. Today's date, what's today's date? Today is December 6th, your year of our Lord, 2021. How's everyone doing out there today? We're live on Facebook and we're live on YouTube. Today we're at our beautiful studios in Toms River, New Jersey. We have a guest today, which we're really excited about. He's probably forgotten more about lifeguarding than most people ever learned. And but let me introduce you first to Tyler.
How's everyone doing today? Excited to be here again.
What do you got? A Chevy shirt on? What is that?
Oh, no, this is Manchester United.
Oh,
my boys.
Okay. All right. Good. I thought that was
you guys watch soccer?
Nah, I never watched.
What's your team?
No, my son is a soccer player. Man uses his team.
Oh, wow.
I knew it was going to be a good idea to wear this shirt tonight.
Yeah.
So we have a guest tonight, and I'm going to shoot you right over to him. He's going to introduce himself. And so without further ado, Timmy, what are you going to introduce yourself to our audience?
Happy to be here. Thanks for the honor. Tim Harmon, the lifeguard chief and emergency management coordinator for the Borough of Seagirt.
That's great. And how long you been there for? How long you been
I'll be going into my 27th year in Seagirt, 37th year overall as an ocean lifeguard.
Wow. When did you start? What year did you start?
15.
When? What? No, you're what year?
1985. No, 1986.
86.
Yep.
I got you beat. I started in 77.
Yeah.
77.
2014.
2014.
You said you were 15 when you started?
A long time ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you get your start? Where did it all start for you?
Well, my dad was an ocean lifeguard in Avon from like 1969 or 70 through the mid 80s. And then he went over to Belmar, and I was just, when I became of age, I just was able to, took my life-saving class and made my rescues in the water at the end of April, beginning of May, and you passed the physical test you had to pass, and you got hired. They threw you the metal whistle and the red shorts, and you went to work.
Metal whistle. I wish we still had those.
Did you guys have boats back then? What kind of boats? Yeah, you did. But what kind? Hankins. Yeah. So that's because Hankins. You never rode a Hankins. I rode Hankins.
About the Hankins.
There was a Hankins on every beach.
So yeah, Hankins. We didn't have Hankins. We had Van Sants, and then we had Van Dynes. We were the first beach this is what I was told. We were the first beach in New Jersey to have a fiberglass Van Dyne boat.
Are you sure? I thought that was Atlantic City.
No. They might have had wooden Van Dyne. See, I don't know. I can tell you right now, Junie and John, they used to say that we had the first fiberglass because the Van Dyne brothers with the father. The father made Tom, right? I have actually a boat in the backyard here. I got to show it to you. That's one of the last boats that he made. The father made, and he made it for me. We had Joe and I had it custom made. And
so is that a wooden?
No, it's a fiberglass.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, Seaside Heights had it. I think it was 62. I don't remember. We have a picture of it. And then so we had the Van Dynes and Van Sants. We never had Hankins, but Hankins were made in Lavalette, and that's what your beach had. Yeah. And I rode them. They were wood, and they were very. You could explain it, but they were
tugboats.
Yeah, they were high bow. They were kind of like a bathtub, kind of like.
Pretty much.
Right. And they were great through the waves, but they were really impressive. But so you had Hankins, and how'd you guys make the rescues? Because Lavalette would have a belt on. And how'd you guys make rescues?
When I started, they had just gotten away from belts.
Explain that to the audience, because he has no idea what you're talking about.
A lifeguard belt was basically a piece of fire hose that was around your waist with a leather belt attached to it. And there was a D-ring on it where it was called hook up. You would clip in the rescue can or the torp, where you would clip in the line, and then you'd swim it out to the victim. If you had the belt on and you got to the victim, you just slid the belt up underneath your armpits, and you'd give them the side, and they would pull you in, but you'd be underwater the whole way in. I mean, that's how they made the rescues. Was with a torp and a line, or the torp guy would raise his hand and the line guy would go out. But I came on as the belts phased out. Sandy Hook to this day still uses belts.
Yeah.
If you're swimming a line with one of those belts, do you have a can?
There could have been a can attached to it, or it could have just been a line.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me step back and tell you, because when I when I was working in Seaside Heights, I used to work for Lavalette, so I do the tournaments and also State Park. So I use those belts. And he's absolutely right. But what I want to ask you is, why did you guys see Lavalette? So who started that paradigm? Was it Lavalette, and then it mushroomed or grew up to your beaches?
What do you mean, the belts or no
the
belts?
The belts and the Hankins. Like what? Because Hankins was Lavalette. I thought that was only Lavalette.
I mean, as the day I was born in 1970, going to the beach as your dad's son as a lifeguard little kid, I remember Hankins boats and lifeguard belts. I mean, I think they were just part of the culture passed down from the life-saving service and passed down from the way they used to rescue people.
Yeah, but here's the thing, because this is interesting, because we did a show on how lifeguarding evolved.
Yeah.
And like California, it evolved from the pedigree came from Hawaii, and then it went to California, then it went to Chicago, New Jersey, Seaside Heights. We got our pedigree, our procedures from Atlantic City.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested in where did you guys get your stuff from?
Ocean Grove and Atlantic City were the two initial beach patrols in New Jersey, and I think Ocean Grove actually is
not Atlantic, not Asbury. It was Ocean Grove.
Ocean Grove.
So you probably
1885, I think, or if I remember correctly.
See, we're gonna have to work on this. You're gonna. That's your job, Tyler, because
Atlantic City
influenced us, but not up north.
Got started in 1855. That's when they had that constable of the surf guy that we were talking about.
Right.
And then it was the 1890s, I think, when they started paying lifeguards.
But here's the thing. What I thought was everything mushroomed from Atlantic City. I didn't even think about, if that was the case, then they would have had Van Dynes and cans, because that's how Atlantic City evolved. So we're missing something here. So there was another micro burst or another tentacle or seed.
This is what's so cool.
You see what I'm saying? So now we wouldn't have had you. So we got to figure out. Seriously.
So what year did you say Ocean Grove?
I think 1885, if I remember correctly.
Because Hankins, because then where did Hankins come from? And I know where he was in Lavalette. So you guys and maybe even New York City and up that way, where'd they come from? I was assuming that. We were assuming right now before you came here that everything mushroomed from Atlantic City, but now it doesn't. No,
it's not Monmouth County versus Atlantic County or Cape May County. I'm not here to say that.
No, but we're all started. We're saying where it started. It has nothing to do with that.
I know that in our area, Ocean Grove
was
pretty much the first beach patrol.
So maybe that's where.
That's pretty cool stuff.
That we got our, you want to say that lineage or whatever.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Asbury was a destination spot. Ocean Grove was a destination spot. I mean, they used to have lifeguards sitting on poles in the ocean.
You were talking about that a couple weeks ago.
Right, the poles.
This is a totally different era in time.
Yeah, the poles.
So cool.
The baiting lines.
So we'll do a little research.
What's that?
Well, the lines that were in the ocean. That was your baiting area. They would put the lines out with the barrels at the end and the anchors.
So kind of like how they have on the bay now.
Exactly. It was in the ocean.
Yeah. Remember we were talking about that, and they would hang on. There's pictures of it. I have that other book. But I think what we'll do is, we'll do a little research, and you guys could work on it, because so we're trying to find, we got the one where it all started. A lot of it started in Hawaii, but also in Atlantic City, and then you could see how it mushroomed out. And then the one guy who just died, his name was Ed Pecoraro or Joe
Pecoraro.
Joe Pecoraro.
Right. He just died. Yep. He was 91 years old, and he was a California guy. So
Chicago.
No, but he
came from California.
Yeah. So everything moved that way. And I didn't, but so we got that's interesting. So you were there, you had the Van Dyne, you had the Hankins, you had the Belts, and isn't it up there too? You do the stand-up rowing. So tell us how that. Oh, that's another thing. You ever hear about the stand-up rowing?
Adam Brzezanski, he's a guy that works with us. He's, I think, a nine-year guard. His brothers worked in Asbury for years, and they're rowers. They're twin brothers, and one would be the stand-up guy, and then one would be the other guy.
Well, I mean, so the Hankins came from the Seabright skiff, right? That was the boat that it was modeled after, the Seabright skiff.
Okay. I didn't know that.
And the part of that boat And being in a Hankins boat was that you stood up so that if you took the boat out, you were seeing where you were going and looking at the victim. You were seeing where you were going.
So that was
the premise of stand-up rowing.
So that was bred out of, that's a style of rowing that was bred out of like a rescue necessity, because there's really no other reason to row a boat like that.
No, but you needed to see the victim where you were going. So you stood up in the boat and you pushed with your oars.
Would you say that's faster?
Oh, it's not faster because you're only getting about half a stroke, but it's clearly better if you're going to row through the surf and you needed to see where you were going.
Absolutely.
Rather than being a bowman and rowing with your back to the victim and either plowing them over or whatever. But
or like craning your neck.
So it's more accurate. It's more accurate. So anyway, and one thing, Tim, that is my uniform, by the way. That is my one leg couldn't fit in that right now.
Is it all one piece?
No, it used to have a strap underneath. I just got to get the other whistle. I don't have the
tops tucked in.
I don't have, but it used to have it where it was, they were football jerseys, so you could tie it underneath. We have a thing that people can't really see it over there. You can see the bottom part of the pants there for our audience. So
1990.
Yeah, 1990. Well, but that was, I was, but listen, just so we have it for our podcast and we mark this. Can you just put our contact information? We started, I want to get back to Timmy, but can you just put, for people on our podcast, you guys can reach us at drkachmar@icloud.net, and you could come back and go on to YouTube and archive us. But put that up there for a minute. And then also our webpage is JerseyShoreFootAndLegCenter.com. And I'm Dr. Michael Kachmar. I'm a board certified reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon, doctor of podiatric medicine. And so if you guys could get a hold of us, just put the email up there for me, Tyler, please. So, and it's drkachmar@icloud.com. And you guys can send us information and emails, and we'll try to get you on the show. So what else, Timmy? So you started there and you were 15. And so what else? Keep on. So your dad was big time.
My dad was there. My dad had moved down to Seacrest, a beach down right neighboring Lavalette.
Seacrest,
and the Federation of beaches there, Normandy,
Ocean
Beach.
Yeah.
I stayed in Belmar until 1995, and then had an opportunity to go to Seagirt. And my counterpart that I work with, the beach manager, Jim Frieda, he was a Belmar lifeguard. There was a little political upheaval, politics, lifeguarding. It's,
we don't know anything about that, right?
Most people, there's some point that happens at some point, but we were able to go to Seagirt and find a new home. And, it's been an amazing journey there.
Good. Yes.
So,
I
still feel like I'm 25.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with me, my mind is like, I feel like I'm 25, but my body can't do it as much anymore. So, and we try though, right? We try. So, well, that's good. So the, I don't want to direct you but what we were talking, you and I, at the meeting that we had with the Chiefs meeting, and there was a couple things that maybe we want to touch upon, and because there's going to be new rules and regulations or some determination about, number one, 16-year-old kids and rowing and getting injury. We had a show about that. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but I have when Al Ayers come here, him and I are going to talk about having very young kids. You can't run a beach show without young kids. We need 16, 17. Well, but I'm sorry, but let me just but they're kids, they're babies. They're young and they could be really good, but that's something that is, I prefer, people get mad if I say it. I prefer to have, I think there's a big difference between 16 and 18, but we talked about that a little bit. So what's coming up down the pike as far as, this tragedy that happened in Cape May? Is it going to affect what or how a 16 or 17-year-old kid, male or female, is looked upon on the beach, as far as the supervisors or, how we hire them, how we let them, what they could do? I know there's things now that, well, where's it going forward?
Let's. There's probably plenty of 16-year-olds that have the maturity of 18, 19-year-old individuals that have maybe been in your junior lifeguard program, that have learned the techniques and the procedures, and kind of molded them along the way, and they're just at a higher level than maybe somebody that has not grown up on the beach or has been a part of lifeguarding in their lifestyle. And they just have a different maturity level. That's number one. Number two, the physicality of the job. There are plenty of 16-year-olds that are scrawny little kids.
We've seen them.
And there's plenty of 16-year-olds that again, that are just built differently. I don't know what's going to come out from the Cape May incident. Clearly a tragic situation that happened. I know that the Joint Insurance Fund right now is looking at just safety in general for lifeguarding. And unfortunately, it's been probably somewhat brought to the forefront. Boats are dangerous. Paddle boards are dangerous. The job is dangerous.
The ocean's dangerous.
The ocean's dangerous. The ocean will win every time. That's a given.
You gotta live by that as a lifeguard.
I don't know what's going to happen, but listen, we have a junior lifeguard program. We have a couple hundred kids in the program, and every year we're able to hire kids out of that program. And I'm not making a joke out of this at all, but think about this. You hire 5 16-year-old kids out of your program. They can swim. They pass the test. And most of them that pass the test are phenomenal swimmers. You hand them the whistle, the key, you give them the red shorts, and you basically tell them, don't let anybody die. And these kids, this is their first job.
Yeah.
They don't even know what responsibility is part of them.
No.
You try to train them as fast as you can in Lifeguard Academy. You bring them up to speed. You put them under the watchful eye of supervisors and senior guards. But as a supervisor, I cross my fingers and say my prayers every day that nothing's going to happen on your beach. And
so let me play devil's advocate. And I agree with you. We listen. I've been doing this for 30 years, and we've had a lot of young kids. And this summer we had one kid who really rose to the occasion, and he made the rescue. But I understand what you're saying. So do we outlaw and say no 17-year-old kids? We're not going to do that. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. No. And that's too broad of a stroke to knock everybody out. But we also have to understand, and this is a show here where I think that, we got regular lifeguards and young lifeguards, but we also have supervisors who need to make these decisions. And like I said, when I get Al on here, I wanted to talk to Al about this, but he did 20 years as captain of Seaside. I think you really need to carve out a protocol for the young kids, because they are young kids. You can't have a 16-year-old out in the world making they can't sign a contract. They can't consent on their own surgery. They can't do a lot of things, but you're giving them the ability to save somebody's life or make the decision. So
you're putting the responsibility on them.
Right. Well, maybe, so should we or shouldn't we? Like one thing that I try to do, and it's not easy, is try to say, okay, he's 16 years old, he's 17 years old. When the shit's hitting the fan, and I got, 2 people in the back of the beach passed out, 5 missing kids, one rescue going here, one rescue there. I'm trying to understand, who is making decisions one way or the other. So I think that maybe, a general rule should be, or we should propose things like maybe there should be only a certain amount of 16-year-old kids. Do you want to have 90% of your beach 16-year-old kids? That's not good. Maybe it should be 10% or 20%. And maybe it shouldn't be a rule. Maybe we could just say, hey, that's something that we need to do. But because the accident's one thing, them getting hurt, but the other thing is just, the lifeguarding. And, Tyler, what do you think about that? Have you seen, our 16-year-old kids, have they all performed pretty well,
I think it all just depends on the individual. I think ideally what you want to do is not have to have 16-year-olds on the stand, but there's just not enough lifeguards out there for that. And I think that's one of the main problems. I think ideally you want to give an entire summer to one of those kids to learn the job, but that's just not possible. Is it possible for you guys?
No.
Exactly. So do you because this tragedy, I think it's a one-off, and I don't necessarily, has any maybe reflection on a 16. It could have been a 20-year-old.
Yeah, but you know what? I want to make that point. I don't think you can harp on the age.
No,
because not knowing 100% what happened down in Cape May, again, tragic situation. It could have happened to you and I in the boat.
Oh,
the boat flipped over. One of us got hit in the head.
Yeah.
One of us could have been.
I'm sure all 3 of us have been in situations where that easily could have happened.
You can't harp on the 16-year-old age.
No,
the point about the 16-year-old age is that they're still learning in life, and you're giving them a tremendous amount of responsibility.
Yeah.
And me as a chief, your captain or chief, the supervisors, that's part of the hiring process, the training process, the getting to know these kids. Again, especially if they come up through your junior lifeguard program, you've got a pretty good idea of who can do it and who can't. But by having that process throughout their beginning of their career, you're able to probably understand what they can and cannot handle.
So it sounds like you have a lot of junior lifeguards come through the program and
it's our
work for the beach patrol.
Yeah.
Is that your main line of recruitment? How else do you go about getting lifeguards?
We've had open houses. We use social media to the fullest extent.
Oh, your guys' social media is awesome. By the way.
Thanks. To promote the job, and we definitely promote the fun part of the job, but the serious part of the job, so they understand what they're getting into. I know that the 16 or 17-year-old kids that we hire out of our junior guard program are as capable as anybody out there. Do they have the experience? No, they don't have the experience. Do they have the skills necessary to do the job? Yes, they do. The experience comes with the mentorship, the leadership, the supervision, them getting, making them go into water on rain days, making them go in and big surf, giving them the situations to train on. I get the age concern, but you wouldn't have beach patrols without 16-year-old
I know.
kids.
And I think the point you're really drilling down into is, it's just the hard fact is when you're 16 or 17-year-old, you just don't have enough time on the bench
in life,
right.
And so, in life to be able to make that split-second decision when someone's life could be on the line.
Right.
How about when you look at, let's just say August 15th to the end of September? Who were the majority of your lifeguards on the beach?
High school kids.
High school kids, exactly. Yeah. So, you wouldn't have a beach patrol without those high school kids, and without a beach patrol, you have no tourism, you have no people going to the beach, you have nothing. So, it plays into itself that the better job and I would say we all, because you're all experienced guys, I'm an experienced guy, the better job that we do training these kids along the way and giving them the tools to succeed, is the safer and better your beach is going to be for years to come. Right.
So what I'm hearing is that, we're going to, 16-year-old kids are here to stay. And one way you could help to make them a better lifeguard is if they are enrolled in these junior lifeguard programs. And I don't know if everybody beach has it. We have one. We have like 100 kids.
I would say at any given time, we have like 5 or 6 lifeguards that have been part of our program.
But here's the thing, though. The conversation was this: is that we worried about these kids, especially because the kid got injured or killed. But it brings up the thought about 16-year-olds, and you said if you had your way, you wouldn't have them. So, but we have to have them. So
I didn't say that.
Well, you said if you had your way, you'd rather have older, not 16-year-olds.
In my dream beach patrol, we would have a summer-long training program, not even just for 16-year-olds, for all rookies, where they're given next to no responsibility and given the time to really properly learn the job.
But listen, what I'm saying.
The reality is we can't do that.
No, but what I'm saying, right? But what I'm saying is, listen, what I'm saying, because he makes a good point. I'm just thinking about it. One recommendation, if I had to put a recommendation paper out, that we're going forward, we're continuing on with 16-year-old kids, we should really try then to have a very robust junior lifeguarding program where we start getting these kids, at 10, 11, 12, 8. And then the time they get to be 16, they have a lot more, at least a lot more maturity of the ocean and knowledge. And so then maybe, so maybe what we should be striving for is we're not going to, we want to supervise them more when we get them on a beach, but the more we could pick these kids from the, so like the baseball, get the people from the minor leagues, so maybe that's what we're, is a great idea that we should push that as a model.
You started the conversation off talking about lifeguard belts and what kind of boat you use, but the evolution of the job, you don't use a belt anymore. You don't really use a boat on a rescue, very minimally. They're there for training, and they're there to, if you need them. The job's evolved. One of the evolutions of the job is junior lifeguard program, and my son and my nephew are both newly 16-year-old know-it-alls, and I say that because they're, number one, tremendous athletes. Number two, they can handle themselves in the surf in a way that it's almost unbelievable to watch these kids. And and I credit every one of my lifeguards that has worked with these guys that have almost done the vetting for me, because they have trained them along the way, and they've vetted these kids to a point where every year I say to my sergeant who runs the junior guard program, Jill, who am I bringing up this year? Who are we looking at? What are we doing? And here's the 5 names. Here's the 6 names. And unfortunately, not every junior guard gets hired, because not every one of them can handle, the job or the ocean. But that vetting process from the junior guard program is a tremendous benefit to the beach patrol. But where I'm going with this is that my son Jack and my nephew Cooper, and hopefully they listen to this at some point. They're both at practice tonight for some sport. Everybody has a little swagger when you get a job as a lifeguard. Let's be honest. It's a great job. Everybody gets a little swagger. And these 16-year-old kids, and I don't just mean my family, I mean everybody, but these kids get a little swagger, and they already know it all. They're in the boat. Dad, I got it. I know how to ride a wave. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. So tied into the evolution of the job, tied into the junior lifeguard program, providing your candidates, tied into the equipment evolution in the job. The other part that is going to take center stage because of the tragedy last year is the safety measures you need to put in to keep everybody safe nowadays that you didn't have in place years ago. And that could be helmet use. That could be establishing a protocol for using equipment in big surf. That could be the right kind of equipment in the right kind of surf. That could just be different methods and methodologies that you're using and teaching depending on the conditions. Where before, Mike and I rode out on the biggest wave day, and we took the biggest wave in and we flipped the boat. That was almost a badge of honor. Today you look at it and you say that's just, that maybe that's not an incredibly good idea, because you can get incredibly hurt.
We used to have contests who could go on the biggest day.
If you could get out, you had the biggest set of balls. I mean, that doesn't mean that you were being smart about it.
I've had some of the old timers tell me that their workout used to be row the boat out in big surf, flip it, fill it with water, and then get it back in.
Well, again, I mean,
that's very true.
Probably the eyes have been opened a little bit as to the dangers of the job this summer. 2 New Jersey lifeguards were killed within 10 days of each other. And
that sounds so crazy when you put it like that.
So crazy when you think about that, because realistically, everybody, and rightfully so, was focused on Ben Carlson, who lost his life in a line of duty death in Newport Beach. And listen, I visited Ben Carlson's statue. I walked in headquarters, and I know a lot of guys out there, their lives are forever changed because of that. And just standing in front of that statue is a very moving thing. I hope to go down to Cape May to the beach dedication, and I hope every other New Jersey lifeguard agency sends somebody down there, because when they dedicate that beach to Norman next year in Cape May, that's going to be a tremendously moving experience. That no lifeguard chief, no lifeguard would ever want to have to go through what those guys have gone through. And I'm not shortchanging Berkeley by the killed by lightning incident either, but the Norman incident was obviously the first one that happened all summer, and a very tragic situation. And they're going to name that beach after him, but that's just going to be a tremendous, honor to not only Cape May, but to the lifeguard profession.
Well, it was like the way you put it is right. It's brought attention
to the dangers
of the job. I mean, I bar back at Spicy's, and for like the week after that happened, people were doing like moments of silence in the bar in the middle of the night for these kids. And you never see lifeguards get attention like that.
I was part of the cover assignment down there and helped put it together with the neighboring lifeguard beaches, and my counterpart in Ocean City, Mark Jameson, who's a really great guy who should come on this show. He runs a beach, in South Jersey that totally different than anybody's beach up here. But to see the effect on the Cape May city and the people at the beach, that when we were down there and you had 56 lifeguards that were from every county and every town in New Jersey working their beach for the day so that their whole beach patrol could go to the funeral, and have people that you had no idea who they are. They have no idea who you are. walk up there and just give you a hug and tell you thanks. Some of them had tears in their eyes. Some of them would wave you over. I was driving a truck on the beach. One gentleman waved me over. He said, I can't thank you guys enough for being down here for the day. It means so much to the city of Cape May. Like, that just is,
yeah.
I hope it's a once in a lifetime opportunity and issue that we have to deal with, but it was just tremendously moving. Well, and I think people really almost catapulted life-saving and lifeguarding to like, holy crap, this is a dangerous job for these guys.
Yes,
and,
yes.
You know,
I think
this
really
is a profession.
is.
This isn't just a bunch of guys with white nose on their, white stuff on their nose and sand in their toes. It's a joke that people say about lifeguarding. It's a serious profession and occupation for many people that, I would only parallel it to the fact that a fireman gets killed in a fire and a police officer gets shot in a line of duty death. I mean, that's how we felt as lifeguards on this detail. And whether you're on it or not, I think everybody felt it, that it was just tremendously tragic for the profession.
Yeah.
I think communities, something special happens within communities on the back of a tragedy like that.
So to that point, the borders that are sometimes put up in New Jersey between Monmouth and Ocean County, or, Northern Jersey versus Southern Jersey, South Jersey Chiefs Association versus USLA, whatever you want to call it. I think they were not only evaporated, but I don't know whether you're going to see them again.
We're on the same team
because we are on the same team, and something good is going to come from the death of these kids. And whether it's beaches that put lightning detectors in that never had them before, whether it's beaches that maybe change their policies and procedures, whether it's, some gathering of lifeguard chiefs to sit down and work on some safety measures that could maybe come about to keep all of us more safe with better technology and better equipment.
Yeah.
It's going to come about because
the public gaining a better understanding about what we do.
Absolutely. And if it doesn't, then we did not do our job to make, I hate to say benefit, that's not the right word, but, take a tragedy and learn from it and make something better out of it. Right.
That's the only option we have is to do that.
I think what I like two things that you were saying is
I don't know if I explained it right, but
no.
Fantastic.
But here's the thing. Two things that I think that I want to just expand on what you said is, number one is that a lot of people had this perception that the job was just like, you're sleeping on the stand, you're watching the people go by and that's it. I think this brought to the attention of the public that, oh my God, this is these guys. It's not just serious now; it's been serious. It's so your point about they got this a rude awakening of how tough a job it is, and how dangerous a job it is, and how serious a job it is. And then also now the other side of the coin is that how dangerous is it? It's one thing, lifeguard broke his arm or broke his, you get a lifeguard who broke his neck or something like that. You heard one where it was off duty, but the camera just fell down over there. Tyler, can you fix that one camera for me, please? And so now you have people, like you said, who all of a sudden, OSHA, I mean, the politicians, like in La Valette, which is another whole thing. And I want to talk about this, about the lightning, but in La Valette, last year, a man drowned.
Right.
And this was
2020
after hours. Right.
Yeah.
And the lifeguards were in a
response mode.
Response mode.
Yeah.
So now, that family has written to the governor. And so there's going to be, I think, changes or discussion about after September, because we have this arbitrary thing where we shut the beaches down Labor Day. Well, the ocean is still warm and people are still coming down. And so that's another thing. So that's going on. These kids who tragically died, and I'll expand it with this lightning thing. Now I'm saying to my other supervisors, we would do this. We would, we have to, we'd watch the lightning, and of course we're going to get, lightning detectors going forward, but we would get the lifeguards, we clear the water, and then we would go down on the beach. The lifeguards would walk around, right? You'd walk around with a can. I'd go down with an ATV, and we clear the beach until it's cleared. And we could have 6, 7, 8,000, maybe 10,000 people. What's going to happen now going forward? I'm thinking we're going to clear the water, and then I'm going to get my lifeguards off the beach. And then I'm going to go down in the truck and drive around and, you know, and not have one lifeguard because I don't want to have them exposed. So I don't know so a lot of things are going to come about. I don't know what you think about that, but how are we going to manage now? Sunday afternoon, thousands and thousands of people. We got a thunder boomer coming up.
And it's still bright sunshine out, and they're looking at you like you're crazy.
Right. But here's the thing. How are you going to not only manage the people? We know how to manage that. We've done it. We clear the beach. And when you call it, if you call it, but what are we going to do anything different with regard to clearing the beach with respect to our lifeguards? You see what I'm saying?
Well, you know, I think it's interesting because I have a meeting on Thursday with the risk manager in the state, and I'm just one of a few people that he's reached out to say, I want to go over safety issues. We want to talk about everything so we can put our heads together and come up with some best practices that are going to, you know, help make all of you beach patrols safer and better. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that meeting. But you know, I know from my side, and I'm just speaking for Seagirt, we got 1.8 miles of beach. We have the National Guard Training Center that's there. The public beach is 1.1. We have lightning detector. It goes off. You know, I hope to get a better one this year because the one we have is about, you know, 16 years old. It's just a little box on the wall, and there's definitely better technology out there. But you mentioned the ATVs, like lightning storms. Those vehicles put those things away immediately. Those are magnets.
Yeah.
Those are open vehicles.
You
can put a truck on the beach with lights and siren and PA. And the lifeguards, they should be getting off the beach equally as fast as the people.
So
on the beach.
my question is it going to be appropriate for me to get the lifeguards off the beach before the people are off the beach?
And that's a hard call.
Well, somebody's going to have to make that call.
I know. And
wait. Now, Tyler, seriously, I'm not kidding around on this. If you're on the beach now, lightning's happening, we get everybody out of the water. Are you like double tailing it to the headquarters, or are you going to sit out there with a can and walk around?
I've always wanted to get off the beach as soon as possible.
I'm scary.
It's going to, now.
The thing is, like, I do feel a responsibility because anyone that's on the beach, whether it's in the water or on the sand, if something goes wrong, it's like, it's on us who has to help them.
Yeah.
And so do I want to be like safe in headquarters watching people get struck by lightning on the beach? No. But at the same time, I have to be safe so I can perform my job.
Right.
And I've been out on that beach with lightning striking the roller coaster right next to me on Casino Pier, trying to get people off. And it's,
you didn't see that.
Terrifying.
I didn't see that.
I think every beach patrol is going to have to look at their policies and procedures, their SOGs, SOPs, and they're going to have to probably make some changes. I mean, again, you can't look at a situation like this and not make some kind of change out of it for your own safety.
Well, I tell you what I'm going to recommend, and for our beach, hopefully we could do it. We're going to have 2 trucks at least, one on each end. A Ford pickup or whatever. Get the lifeguard. As soon as the water's clear. This is my, what I would recommend. As soon as the water's cleared, lifeguards gets off the beach. Get shelter wherever. Also the beach control, we get them sheltered. They go underneath. They because the people who run, sit on the tickets, give the tickets out. And then what we'll do is we'll go in a truck, like you said, which is supposedly pretty safe, and drive around. And towns are going to have to buy the trucks or get, a lot of these dealers will lend you a truck for the summer. We get one, right? But they're going to have to be on the beach, and I think that's probably the only way. I understand what you're saying, but I can't see ordering these kids to be on the beach. God forbid somebody gets hit by lightning. And the people, you got to have loudspeakers, and like I watch Bondi Beach, and I like, when they really get a crazy, crazy beach and it's out of control, even there's no shark, they throw the shark thing on. I think we should have a shark, we should this is the shark alarm, and there's no shark. We went, whoa, put that thing on.
Just come on the loudspeaker with
they do it.
Pre-recorded announcement.
Everybody knows about sharks.
Do you guys have a code word for sharks?
No.
No, but if you tell people there's sharks, and if you have a siren,
well, marine life, that's basically what we'll say. Is marine.
We say man in a gray suit.
We've said that, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about, we have a speaker system. Maybe we should have tests. This is a test, in the morning. This is a sound if there's lightning approaching. If you hear this, you have to leave the beach immediately. And it's just, like some kind of siren.
Well, think about it. You said the point. Like the lifeguards got to make sure that people get out of the water, right?
Yep.
I mean, because that's really what we're there
right.
for.
That we have to get.
That we got to do.
Right.
But why am I going to sit on the beach and risk my life because you're going to put a fight up because you don't want to leave the beach, or you're sitting on the sand, or it's taking you too long to gather your
At that
stuff.
point, your life's in your own hands.
Yeah, I mean, you've been warned. Get off the beach.
Yeah.
And I have to believe that most people do. You know, we can clear our beach pretty quick. It's unbelievable.
We're pretty good. Yeah.
Go.
No, we're
but
pretty
then
good.
they stand on the boardwalk.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Beach boardwalk. It's the same thing. Get off.
I think most beach patrons are pretty good about stuff when you take the time to explain it to them.
Yeah.
The problem is we don't always have that luxury.
And one thing, another person we want to get here is Chip Bruce. He runs State Park, you know, and he made a good point. When we all clear the beaches, right? We're clearing, they're clearing. Well, but down where we are, Seaside Park, you know, so you have probably, you know, 30,000, maybe more people that are leaving the beach. For a lot of them are getting in their cars and leaving
in minutes,
and the roads get jammed up, and you know, so it creates a little bit of a craziness, you know. So I don't know. I just thought I'd bring that up because that's something that real time, you know, again, it brought it to our attention that, you know, it doesn't have to be, the storm has to be close. Whether or not we're going to call it sooner and get more equipment, I think that's for sure. But going forward, just forget about all of that. You know, we should be thinking right now, and we're looking for guidance. I know what USLA is going to have to say, or the Chiefs Association, but you know, I think that some kind of opinion letter or some kind of best practices.
Yeah, there's some guidance from USLA as far as lightning policies and procedures.
Anything new though, like
no, they just re-put it out after this. Like, remember that there's a lightning policy in place. If you need to formulate one for your beach, and here's some of the suggestions we'll make for you. You know, it's online. You know, and that's the good thing about the national agency is that, you know, there's a group of experts across the country, like them or not. There's a group of experts across the country on multiple coasts that are putting together national guidelines for you, Seaside, Seagirt, whatever beach it is, to take those and mold them to your patrol, right? But at least you have some basic guidelines to move forward. You've got personal watercraft guidelines now. You've got lifeguard emergency vehicle guidelines, how to drive it on the beach, you know, what you should be looking for.
That's the other thing.
You've got, you know, your training plan guidelines. You've got your lifeguard academy guidelines. You've got these tools in place from a national agency. You know, and I'm involved in the USLA, and I believe in the mission and the guidelines and the information that comes from them. But I will tailor it to my beach. My beach is different than your beach.
Yeah.
And I will tailor it. But, you know, lifeguarding is lifeguarding. I mean, there's not much deviation from making a rescue, performing CPR, administering first aid from one to the other. I mean, it is what it is, you know?
Well, you know, you said something when we had the Chiefs meeting. You're saying that there was 3, you know, spots, you know, of course, you know, boat safety and regulations that come with the boat. And then the other thing was lightning safety. So these all need to be really looked at pretty heavy duty, you know, going into the next season. But the third thing that you mentioned, which is, you know, a pet peeve of mine also, is the vehicles on the beach, you know, the ATVs that we have. And, you know, people do get injured on those. And, you know, we're very, we don't let anybody who doesn't have a driver's license on one. You know, if we actually, everybody's license, we get at the beginning of the season. And if your license is suspended or something, you're not going to drive. But we also tell these kids how fast to go, right? We you know, we don't allow anybody to go crazy.
Yeah.
But there's been people, right? Who's just somebody.
Well, there's been, I mean, lifeguards can get hurt on it, but there's been, you know, there's people on the beach that can get hurt. And if you're not turning the vehicle the right way, if you're not driving it the right way, you know, we set a vehicle lane up on our beach. I know other beaches set vehicle lanes up, so you have a designated lane that you really need to drive in. I mean, some beaches can't do that. It's just not going to work. But you know, again, those are the tools that are out there for me or you or anybody that's running a beach or has a training program, that they're there for you to, you know, utilize and make your patrol safer. You know, instead of just handing the keys to anybody and going, hey, just drive the truck down the beach and do what you got to do, you know? I mean, someone's going to get killed, you know?
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Unfortunately, it did happen at a beach where, you know, somebody got hurt and somebody, you know, might not have done the right thing. I'm not here to say they did or didn't do it. I'm just saying that it does happen. And, you know, as long as you've dotted your I's, crossed your T's and done what you're supposed to do along the way, hopefully you minimize the risk for anything to happen.
Yeah, one of our main things is you do not drive on the beach without the lights on. Just flashing the cherries.
He makes a good point. We have all our vehicles have emergency lights. The police red, flashing,
LED lights.
And so they're lit up like Christmas trees. That's number one. And number two is we don't go fast. That's a vague or a
fast
subjective.
To me is not fast to you or whatever.
Right. So we say don't go more than 3 miles per hour. We have a lot of vehicles. So we have on our one side, we have 3 and 3, right? And we got more. So we have 6 vehicles, and then the police. We have police patrol all day long, and they could be 2 or 3 police with ATVs. One thing that does help though is that you can't go that fast because we're so crowded, and we don't have lanes. And then when we have special purpose things going on, like we'll have concerts on the beach, or in fact, this year they had a copper tone, I think, or some commercial for suntan lotion, right? And I actually got in the shot, and I didn't know because I had to go clear some people. I'm not paying attention to them. I really could care less, And they came up to me and they go, "Listen, we just want to let you know you're in the shot, but because you're a lifeguard, you were automatically waived. So, you're not going to get paid or anything."
Oh, interesting.
I was like, I'm very sure it's a faraway shot, but we don't have lanes. And then we have volleyball. I don't know if you have that, but we have, right? We have sand. What do we have? Sand soccer or the volleyball?
I mean, on a big weekend, there's no way we'd be able to get away with doing that.
Yeah. So on a 4th of July, we'll put some lanes going down to near the water, and when it's low tide. But my point is about you, when you mentioned with the Chiefs Association meeting, you said that there was 3, if I remember correctly, 3 places that you guys were looking at, for safety to evaluate and look at. And that was, lightning, the young kids with the boats, or anybody with the boat for that matter, and then the vehicles. And I think that's, places that we need to be careful about and rethink it. And hopefully, I don't know where it's going to go, but we're going to have meetings in January, our beach, and we're all going to meet and try to make some decisions, go forward. So, and the towns are, they're very proactive with that. I think you're going to see more of towns concerned, not just for the people. It's always been, we don't want anybody drown when we get hurt, but now I think more is going to shift to the lifeguards themselves. Lifeguard safety, right?
Well, I mean, again, you look at the evolution of the job, right? So go back to the beginning. Belts, we don't use them anymore. Wooden boats have turned into fiberglass boats. Fiberglass boats have turned into personal watercrafts. Your wooden paddleboard, balsa wood paddleboards turned into a fiberglass board, which has turned into a soft top board. So that's changed. Your rescue can design's changed. Your lifeguard stand design has changed. When I started, nobody had ATVs on the beach. You might have had a Jeep or some kind of hand-me-down pickup truck. Now you have multiple vehicles. I have multiple vehicles. Most beaches have multiple vehicles to manage their staff and run their beach and have emergency response. Again, your personal watercrafts that are out there now. I mean, that's a tremendous asset.
What did you guys have back then? You have phones? Because we had phones.
So you went from phones that you had a buried line in the beach. You brought a red box down every day, plugged it in, to go to a radios. Now the radio communication is digital, and it's trunked, and it's repeated, and it's you're on multiple channels. I mean, it's just changed. We're not wearing those uniforms anymore. That I know, but your uniform has gotten better, right? UV protection, something like this, a sun shirt, hats. I mean, again, when I started, it was a t-shirt and a pair of shorts. It didn't even have a drawstring and a metal whistle. You don't use metal whistles anymore.
And we have dispensers in our headquarters. Big dispensers loaded with suntan lotion. We all load up. These kids, they make
didn't wear suntan lotion back in the 80s. You put baby oil on. You just puffed it out.
I stayed sunscreen all over my face, all bundled up all day, all covered up.
We let these guys have fun. Well, you guys have fun with it. They'll get the colored.
The colored zinc.
They look like Indian. I shouldn't use that. It's politically incorrect.
You guys get mad at us when we get too creative.
Well, sometimes you look stupid. They get ridiculous. They're like out. I'm like, you guys look.
With our junior guard program, it was perfect.
I go on 4th of July. We bring out the red, white, and blue.
I go up and I go, you guys look like idiots.
I've always thought we should have like special uniforms for 4th of July, like red, white, and blue swimsuits. We wear them on Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day every year.
It's not a bad idea, actually.
I think in what we're talking about, when you see the evolution of how the job's changed, is that hopefully people, whether it's the mayor and councils, whether it's administrators, whether it's police chiefs, see that not only with the evolution of the job with the equipment, but the evolution of the professionalism of the job has changed as well.
Because, yes.
You've got the first aid requirements now that everybody needs to be trained on. You've got EMTs, you've got paramedics, you've got first responders, you've got life-saving equipment down there that you never ever had before. I mean, I remember when I started in Belmar, we'd have a wooden backboard on the back, but the first aid people came down and backboarded the guy in the ocean, and we would just stand there and carry the guy off. I mean, now pretty much lifeguards are doing everything, and the ambulance pulls up and you just put them in and they drive away. We had a couple of CPR cases on them. I'm sure you guys have had them down at your beach where you've had, those cardiac issues that have happened. And, you just see the training and the cogs of the wheel all just click. And it's, again, the evolution of the job because the professionalism is gotten more and more. And the days of, probably hiring your drinking buddies and just having all your buddies down there that can't swim and this and that, those days are over. There's no way you can run a beach like that.
We got about 4 AEDs. So we have 2 on each side. We may even have more, that's a really good point you're making because, now I'm thinking about it, we have the suntan lotion. We push every kid has an umbrella. Every stand has an umbrella, and we push the umbrellas. They could have as many as they want. I mean, they break one, we got another one. So we have a unlimited amount of umbrellas. And
sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Well, listen, you got to, but you make a good point. It's professional. That's why I talk about 16-year-old kids. That's why the 16-year-old kids, I love to get them out of from the junior lifeguard program, and our equipment absolutely has gone higher. And I think that the public is expecting that now, and even more now. And I think what we're going to get more I don't say pushback, but we're going to be scrutinized more for how we take care of our lifeguards with regard to lightning and job. OSHA, I think OSHA is going to come down and say, hey, listen,
Joint Insurance Fund, risk managers, OSHA. I've spoken to the lifeguard chief in K-May. He's a friend of mine, and I mean, he's going through the whole procedure with the state right now. I mean, it's something that, you just have to do. It's line of duty death, right? I mean, it's just, you're going to have to die again. You got to go through everything. And if agencies learn from that to make sure that they are I's dotted and T's crossed, it'll make them better as well.
I got a question for you with regard to that. Because you talk about rules and regulations, and then you talk about, downright laws. This is what you have to have. So in Seaside Heights, we're under one of the is the Ocean County Health Department, and then after that we're certified by USLA. We follow their recommendations. But here's my point: where is there other than the Ocean County say your beach, other than Monmouth County say health department, who really says this is what you got to have, and that's the end of it? There's no deviation. This is the law. If you don't, you'll get arrested or sued or fined, or is the state coming down? I mean, is there state mandates? So where's the overlap? You got USLA, which is a federal certifying agency. Then you have the state of New Jersey. Because when I talk to Chip Bruce, who is the captain of Island Beach State Park, they seem to have different rules and regulations than we do. And different than USLA, although they follow you. So my point is, where do you see it? Like, is it going to be one, because I always thought that USLA was the one, everybody followed that, but that's not the case. So where are we going in the evolution? Are we going to have that eventually?
So yeah, the state bathing code is designated in the Board of Health state bathing code. And they designate, one lifeguard for every 300
That's the state now.
That's the state,
not the counties.
That's the state. Okay. You need a first aid kit. You need this. You need that.
Okay.
But they refer to the USLA guidelines. They will defer to the USLA guidelines because the state health department realizes that the USLA, again, national agency, collection of all these experts, has put together a general recommendation policy for beach management, for training, for minimum equipment standards. They will defer to the USLA. So if the state of New Jersey says you need one first aid kit on your whole beach, and the USLA says you need one first aid kit on every tower, then the USLA rule is the one that you would go by.
Even though, but the state
will supersede the state.
Really?
Yes, it says it right in there. They will defer to the USLA.
Okay, so the state is so then it is the USLA now, but the USLA. So, but see, that's what I'm saying though, is how much teeth does that have? Like, so if you don't have it, you don't get certified.
Okay,
like,
but then the other layer is
how do they what's the word I want to use? Enforce it. How do they enforce it?
Well, then we go to the local health departments. So the Monmouth County Health Department comes out and inspects your beach, and they have the checklist, and they'll inspect your beach. The Ocean County Health Department does the same thing. They probably have a little checklist from the state, some form of guideline, like, hey, when you go visit a beach, you need to look for this, and this. Get a copy of their CPR cards, get a copy of their first aid, do whatever you got to do. Here's your checklist. The USLA, the New Jersey office of USLA does on-site inspections where they'll do a courtesy visit. Do you have your minimum equipment standards made? I'll interview you. Hey, did you do your 500-meter test? I didn't swim. What do you mean you didn't swim? That's how you do a little spot check.
But that's USLA local. But so USLA and the county health departments and the state, are they meeting and coordinating together? Is there like a board or an agency?
I mean, there's Trenton, right? There's the office in Trenton that puts out the rules, and then that filters down to the county health departments. And we are in constant, and I say we, there's representatives of USLA. Again, my counterpart in South Jersey, Mark Jameson, who deals with a lot of the South Jersey beaches, we're constantly in contact with the state health department to make sure that there's no a gap in there somewhere that like, hey, this isn't getting done because you're not enforcing this rule, or this isn't being done. So remember that the minimum standards say that lifeguards need to do this, this, and this, and that just gets kind of pushed out and reminded to the local health departments. It's not an easy process. New Jersey's one of the only, and I believe the only state that has its own certification program, where California has the California Chiefs Association and has the CSLSA, the California Surf Lifesaving Association, but it's not mandated by the state of New Jersey, by the state of California. The state of New Jersey mandates that you need to be certified by an agency to operate your beach patrol.
So
now there's a number of agencies. They should be meeting the minimum standards of the USLA.
So what are the agencies? USLA,
USLA, New Jersey, which is more local control over New Jersey.
Is that a different?
You have a national certification and you have a New Jersey certification.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You could do both, you
could do both.
So they're actually two different entities. I didn't know that.
Well, USLA New Jersey was actually the original certifying in the entire country. There was no they were the certification.
New Jersey is like the hub of lifeguarding.
I mean,
like in
terms of like would probably disagree, but I mean,
like in terms not doing the job, but in terms of like certifications and government organizations, it really all kind of started here.
New Jersey and the USLA New Jersey certification office was the first certification lifeguard certification program for training plans in the country. The national certification program was modeled off of the New Jersey plan.
Really? And then,
so cool.
But I saw, are they two different, different charters?
Two different charters, yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you don't have to be nationally certified.
So if you're in Delaware, they would be certified by the USLA National.
Correct.
They wouldn't be certified by the New Jersey. Can you?
No, and they probably aren't certified by the Delaware State Health Department because I don't believe that they have a health department regulation like New Jersey does.
So
South Jersey Chiefs Association is another certified.
Okay, so you have so I don't know. So I learned something today, which is really interesting. So you have two USLA, New Jersey and National.
New Jersey.
And New Jersey, and then you have Chiefs Association,
South Jersey Chiefs Association, which is basically all the beaches south of Brigantine have an association down there where they self-certify themselves, and they have a certification program
recognized by the state of New Jersey.
Recognized by the state of New Jersey that has to follow USLA guidelines because that's the benchmark that the state follows. And then you have two smaller agencies in New Jersey that I think are on provisional status, if I remember correctly. That one deals a lot with the beach clubs in North Monmouth County, and then there's another agency in the middle of Ocean County that's smaller, but they're not, and I'm not disparaging anybody's efforts to make sure that somebody's certified, right? Because if you have a program that's certified, you are following some standard to get to that certification. But the USLA certification is the benchmark for the state of New Jersey.
So let me go.
So you need to meet that standard is my point.
Right. So in the Chiefs Association, South Jersey, they the higher standard would be the New Jersey USLA.
Department of Health.
But they defer to New Jersey.
Yes, the USLA standard would be the benchmark that they need to meet.
So if I go down to Florida, they're going to be following the USLA
national
standard,
guidelines.
The national guidelines, which now is the New Jersey USLA and the national USLA rules and regs exactly the same, or is there any difference? There's no difference.
No, there's no difference. It's exactly the same.
Okay. So why have two? I don't mean, I'm just not being, I mean.
well, one reason is because New Jersey has local control, you know, and I'm involved in that. I mean, the New Jersey office is local control. We're able to work with the agencies one-on-one. We're able to be right here. You can come up to my office. I'll work with you.
Gotcha.
You know, and it's always been, again, the benchmark for the state of New Jersey.
So no other states, have done that. They don't want to have the local control.
I don't believe so.
I wonder why.
Even in Florida, you don't have to be a USLA certified beach in Florida. If you do it, you've got that feather in your cap that says, hey, my training plan is recognized, but you don't need to have that.
Oh, so New Jersey, the state requires you to be USLA certified.
No.
New Jersey
requires you just to be certified.
Certified by an agency that they recognize.
Okay.
Which is one of those couple agencies that I just mentioned.
But like say Florida the state doesn't require you to be certified.
Not to the best of my knowledge.
They would follow then the state would take that that power, but they would probably follow the USLA rules and regs because it seems to be the way to go. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't really know all that stuff. So that's pretty wild. Well, I'm just trying to wonder if, we're going to, when these rules and regs come down for, boat safety. I mean, I can see in New Jersey, New Jersey USLA, it's a local chapter. They can make their determinations, but I wonder what the rest of the country is going to do or not do,
for you talk about helmets and boats in a USLA competition. Because again, New Jersey is somewhat of an asterisk in all of that. Most agencies around the country do not use boats, lifeguard boats in their daily operations. Like New Jersey's kind of held on to that. And I'm a proponent of keeping the boats on the beach and working out, strength training, learning the ocean.
Especially when the ocean is cold, man. You got your board or your boat.
If you don't have a personal watercraft, you can row that out and pull the boat off the jetty. But New Jersey is one of the only places that has life-saving boats like a Van Dyne or a Hankins or an AC on the beach. But in USLA competitions, races, you have to wear a helmet. In and out of the surf zone, you have to wear a helmet. That is a rule. So, does something come out of this that, hey, when you're in competition, you need to wear a helmet? I don't know. Should you be wearing a helmet in and out of the surf zone? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going to come out.
It's not a bad idea.
But it's not a bad idea. Sure, it's not. It's safety. You're wearing a helmet on a bike right now. You're wearing a helmet on a skateboard.
Yeah.
You're wearing a helmet skiing. Surf boats are dangerous.
I wouldn't go snowboarding without a
helmet. But I can't sit here and say that that's definitely going to happen. I don't know.
Yeah. I was just wondering, from the question I brought up is that is the structure of lifeguarding. You say everything's evolving, and there are standards like in medicine, we have certain standards and, but there's variations, but there are, State Board of Medical Examiners in New Jersey is one thing. I mean, practice medicine in New Jersey, I go to another state, I could do other things, some things I can't do. I mean, so every state has the ability to tweak and change what they want. So I would think that it could be, same thing with lifeguarding. And that's what it sounds like. Every state could do what they want to do. And there is a national entity that has generalized rules and regs. And that's why a show like this, I think, is good because we could throw out what we think is important, what our experience has. People could, call up and come on to our show and say, hey, this is what we propose and don't propose. But I think, though, that, going forward with this, with the lightning and the young people, and the more that people see what we're doing, the public, and they realize that this is, a serious job, I think that's going to benefit us in the long run. Better pay, more.
Here's another evolution of the job. What year did you start?
I started in 77.
How many women were on the beach?
One or two. Maybe one.
One, right?
Yeah,
maybe one.
Maybe one. Yeah,
now it's 2021 or 22. How many women are on your patrol?
Yeah, well, we go up and down, but this summer, what did we have?
You got more than one.
3, 4.
Yeah, we
We've
got
had
some
years with
part time.
five.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
35, 40%
Yeah.
of my patrol is
Yeah,
women.
yeah.
Some
Well,
beaches,
Lavalette
some beaches
is
are like half and half.
half and half.
And they can do the job.
Oh yeah,
or they wouldn't be
Oh,
working.
yeah.
I mean,
No.
and again, it comes from the junior lifeguard program. It comes from them all working together and bolstering themselves up. But these girls that are on the beach nowadays, when I started in 86, I mean, there was no girls on the beach.
No, they're
phenomenal
tough.
athletes. They're tough. They can handle it. You know.
Yeah.
So
they're gonna jump down and do CPR with the best of them, just like anybody else is. So I mean, that's to me is we're very, very proud beach of our females and our female athletes, because many of them have just excelled in the professional life saving.
Yeah, well, it's also true in medicine. You know, I was operating today, and we got a lot of residents, and I had we had 2 medical students, and we got a lot of women, and they're sharp as oh man, they're real sharp. And on the beach, yeah, I mean, we have great girls on our beach.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We really, it's a big asset. But that's another, yeah, that's very true. That has changed, and along with that, you need to accommodate that staff too. Bathrooms, showers, and facilities. So Island Beach State Park was way ahead of their time. When I worked down there, they had separate showers. They were air conditioned, by the way. And that's just another thing. Again, I think that's as time goes on, our facilities are going to have to change to accommodate what kind of beach patrol we have. But yeah, Seaside Heights, we've always been multiracial. We've had everybody. I'm not kidding
You
around.
have a different beach down there. You're way different than many beaches.
I mean, we've had African American, we've had Asian. I mean, I go on and on and on.
You get Europeans.
I think
part of the reason why we traditionally and still probably don't have as many girls is just because
it's a rough climate.
It's a lot of climate. We want them. We want them.
Things can even get physical. People are just super aggressive. They don't understand the surf. We do go on probably statistically a few more rescues than most other beaches. But like you said, every girl we've had has just been amazing. But we've never. I got to give credit to Al, and because Al was there, for 20 years, and we didn't care, where you came from, as long as you could pass the test and you're a good lifeguard. We even had, back in the day when all of the towns would hire, Russian, Ukrainian. We tried that. The problem is if they don't speak English, it's tough because they're on the radio.
You can't understand them.
You can't understand them. They're yelling on the radio. But we've done that. But girls are a big asset, and I think that's probably been a really, really good thing. I know I go work out at Lavalette with Joe, and I mean those girls are just, incredible. They're incredible. The Division I swimmers. Yeah. I mean they're in the boat, they're in the paddleboard, and they're really tough.
While we're on that the subject of training, what are some of the core values of your lifeguard academy?
So again, we use USLA as a benchmark, right? We've created our lifeguard academy, and I call it an academy because this isn't tiddlywinks. This isn't fun time. I think the biggest thing is structure. That there's structure, discipline, and that goes into the job, right? Because people's lives are on the line, and without structure and some form of discipline and running a tight ship, people's lives are on the line, and there's no way that I'm going home at the end of the day because people didn't take the job seriously, or have something happen where I leave at the end of the day and say, I can't believe that happened. We should have done a better job. We should have been tighter with this. We shouldn't have because you didn't have structure.
Yeah.
So, I think the lifeguard school and the lifeguard academy, structure and discipline in it, and really showing the kids that are in the class. Look, I've had 55-year-old men in the class that want to try out lifeguarding.
Really?
Hired a 62-year-old rookie a couple years ago.
Really?
Hell yeah.
The guy passed it, but I don't look at them, you're going to the school.
Yeah.
You got to learn. We've had lifeguards come from neighboring beaches. They go to Lifeguard Academy because I'm probably going to teach you something a little bit different than you learned.
It's a different operation.
Not saying mine's better. Not saying where you came from is better. We're just going to teach you the way we do it. So we're all on the same page. So there's structure. And I think that, the people, and I go back to that cogs in the wheel theory, that I can start a sentence and most of my lieutenants and sergeants can probably finish it and then just expand upon it, because we've worked together for so long that we can teach these kids the importance of the job from minute one when they walk in the door, and they hear how serious we talk. They pick up on that vibe right away.
So do you think one of the ways, because I think it's obvious by speaking with you that your lifeguards get it. They understand the seriousness of the job, and that's one of the main things that you get through to them. Now, is that just something that comes across inherently in how serious you're taking the job, or is it a pointed way that, do you kind of get the question I'm asking? Like,
yeah, I think it's the only way I know. You know, I think, and we spoke about this earlier before we went on the air. I think it comes from this this lineage that you learned from, and you know, when you look at a Howard Rowland, who's an iconic figure in Monmouth County. Howard was this big barrel-chested, and I didn't work for Howard. He had left a couple years before, but I took my life-saving course, and Howard was a guest lecturer. This guy was the lifeguard. I mean, he saved everybody. When something happened back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, they call Howard. Howard. Howard, go die for the body. Howard will go find this. Howard was this iconic figure that, you know, was a Belmar lifeguard chief. And just so many lifeguards worked with him or under him. And then those tentacles, right, that you learned under Howard, and then you went out to a different beach, or you went to go run a different beach, but you had the mentality or some form of lineage. Mike Fowler, another person that ran Avon for a number of years. Mike was a very serious guy. He took it very seriously, and way before his time, passed away a number of years ago, but people talk about Mike to this day. And I throw my dad in there because he took the job very seriously. He's Manasquan lifeguard chief for, 9 or 10 years. He ran other beaches. He did work on a number of beaches, came to work for me the last 6 years of his career before he passed away. I don't know any other way. You know, I mean, this job is a tremendous amount of fun. My best friends for life are in it. And as we spoke before, you get to that point in October, you almost get a little seasonal depression, because all of a sudden you go from eating lunch with your family every single day, busting balls and having a good time, and having all this action every single day.
Sometimes I like to,
it's very true. It's very true.
Stops.
It's very true.
I like to compare that kind of clubhouse camaraderie, like you're in the headquarters. It's like gallows humor, a little bit, because we're the job is so intense and you're so turned on all day, and how high the stakes are, that I think the only way to really deal with them is to take the mickey out of it a little bit, to joke around,
decompress time.
Yeah, decompress. Like, oh, did you see that rescue? I went on crazy, right? And that's, I think that's
I love being able to teach the kids, now I'm getting older, right? I'm not 25. I still feel it, and I still want to go out and do what I did at 25. But, I've seen my role change a little bit to where, you really are passing the knowledge on to the next generation. And God forbid if something ever happened to me, I know that the guys underneath me would pick the pieces up and run with it. Like I wasn't.
Yeah.
They got it.
As I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm thinking, I was thinking about another evolution of the job, and it plays into training, and it plays into really everything. Is like, you started, you walked off the beach at 5 o'clock. You were done. Didn't matter how busy the beach was. This is not a 9 to 5 Memorial Day to Labor Day job anymore. No, the Jersey Shore does not close up on Labor Day Monday at 4 o'clock. It's just not that way. You've got people that go to the beach all throughout September. You've got 90-degree September weekends. If you're lucky, the beach is going to have the same amount of people on it that you had 4th of July.
And you have less than half the staff.
You have less than half the staff. So something's got to be done. And I think towns are doing it, and in a variety of ways, legally, and what the insurance companies let them do. But, something's got to be done to deal with that shoulder season. But you're, the 9 to 5, lifeguard headquarters opens at 7 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't close till 7:30 at night. I mean, it's an 11 to 12 hour day now. You throw junior guards in there, you throw after hours patrol in there. You have a couple guys at headquarters cleaning up the equipment at the end of the day. It's a long day.
Yeah.
Intense all day.
Right.
So
exactly
that, what did you call it?
Gallows humor.
Gallows humor. I mean, you need that along the way.
Yeah, it's true. Like on our beach, we're lucky that we have a fire department that has a rescue squad.
And those guys
the
work
water rescue department
hard.
Right. So when we leave, say it's a rough ocean, everything, we got to leave eventually, so sometimes we stay until 7, 6, but we'll hand it over the baton to them. And what we do in our beach, we're lucky we could control it. We get the people off the beach, or we close the gates, we put cops on the beach. And then, God forbid, if anybody does sneak in, we have the fire department ready to go. And plus, we have tons of surfers. We're lucky, very sure up with you are too. A lot of rescues are made by the surfers.
Yeah. Well, they're a tremendous asset to lifeguards.
Oh yeah. But talking about with the beach and everything. We were lucky in our beach. We had John Boyd. So he ran our beach as a semi-military,
paramilitary,
right? We had to have short hair, and so all of us who trained underneath him, have gone to different beaches, or and it carried on to me. But I try with these guys. Very sure you do the same thing. I'm serious, but I light them up. But I also try to joke around with them.
Well, you got to.
And like I'll come on the right. And when I'll get on the radio and I'll try to make some fun, but I try to do exactly what he's saying. The shit could be, excuse my language, the shit could be hitting the fan, but I'll get on the radio and go, Tyler, you look great out there with your beard or your long hair, or like it wasn't in your eyes.
It's like he knows you're watching.
Yeah,
you can make light of it.
But like there was,
he's really saying, I got my eye on you.
Yeah.
But how many times I make you guys laugh when it's like really serious, and I'm like, all right, stop patting yourselves on the back, get back to the yeah. So, but we do. It is a serious situation, and I get up there sometimes, and I have very good training, and I'm in the operating room or ER. I got a lot of things coming down on me real quick, and a lot of times I'm telling you, it's the same thing there. It's more
split second.
It's like people don't realize that what we're doing out there, like you guys, you're like an ER doc. You got this, you got that, you got that, you got that. How many times we got 10 things going on? It's always.
Well, they all tend to go wrong at the same time.
Right.
That's usually how things work.
Right, yeah. So it is. I think that all of this stuff is coming out. That's why we did the show here. We want people to watch this, because we really think that this is the kind of stuff that we want to throw out. And we love that, like somebody like you. I learned a lot from today. I didn't realize that there was New Jersey. That's how stupid, as dumb, uninformed I am. When you didn't know that, right? So we learn these things. But anyway, you want to. It's about an hour and 16. So you want to start saying goodnight to people. What do you think? Anything else you want? Anything you want to wrap it? What do you want? Anything else you want to talk about?
There's a lot of fun. Just sit here and just kind of talk shop a little bit.
Yeah.
But to let the people know that it is a necessary job for Jersey Shore, right? It's without lifeguards, you don't have any beaches, you don't have any tourism, you need them, and the job that we do is a very serious one, and the people that get to do it, as long as we have, are very lucky. The kids that sign on at 16 and maybe they're gone by 23, they'll probably tell you they're the best 7, 8 years of their life, and they wish they could come back to it. Once in a while, people do come back to it. They change careers, and they, I had a police officer that used to work the beach for years. He went to go be a police officer for 20 years. He retired. He came right back to the beach. Went right to Lifeguard Academy.
Yeah. Well,
and he's been a tremendous asset to us.
When I retired from medicine, being a surgeon, I tell people ask me, like, I'm away. They go, what do you do? I go, I'm a lifeguard.
Yeah, I'm a lifeguard. Period.
I don't even tell them. I don't go. They go, really? I go.
You got interviewed by the New York Times a few years ago.
A number of years ago.
Yeah. I think it was 2001.
Yeah.
One of the things you said that I found really interesting was, this is my full-time job.
Yeah. True.
And there was nowhere else in the article did we talk about any other job. It was all about lifeguard.
I'm also saying that as a lifeguard chief, like the coordination and the work.
That's actually something else I want to ask you.
Off season is tremendous.
So, as a chief of life, because it's not just the lifeguards you're in charge of, right? You're in charge of like the beach operations in general.
Yeah.
You're working all year.
Yeah, myself and the beach manager. We were on the beach. Yeah.
And you're working 12 months a year for that?
I am now. The town just put me on 12 months now. So it's
congratulations.
Thanks.
I think all of our dreams as lifeguards.
I'm very fortunate. I work for a tremendous community. I mean, I live there, and I love Seagirt. It's a great little town, little surf kind of seashore community. We've got some new administration in there, and I think one of the things, a point to make is, the professionalism of the job, but also the inner workings with the lifeguards, the police department, the fire department, the EMS. Again, we're all cogs in the wheel, and the better you can get along with all those guys, the easier your job's going to be, because there are beaches that police chiefs and lifeguard chiefs don't talk to each other, or the police chief will come down and try to pull rank on them. I'm the police chief and this is what we're doing. Like, I don't have that at all. I mean, it's a seamless relationship. And you know, the beach, not only lifeguards, but just the beach in general, it is a 12-month job. Because the work we're doing right now is setting us up for the summer next year. You can't just open the door May 1 and say, hey, we're going back to work.
I mean,
that's a problem. That's a problem on our beach. You make a good point. And that's another evolution. I didn't interrupt you, Tyler, but that's another evolution. You know, two that you just mentioned, because we could keep going. One is having the police. You got to have, in this day and age, especially with political correctness, and, you know, you can't touch people and there's cameras. You need to really have a good relationship with the police, especially. You know, I remember the one, not last summer, the summer before, some girl was drunk on a beach and the cops tried to take her off and arrest her. And it was a horror show. You know, he had his vest on, and, you know, he was rolling around the girl.
Belmar or Asbury, right?
I don't know where that was. No, that was South Jersey.
Wildwood.
Yes.
Wildwood. And
Wildwood.
So, you know, we don't want to, we used to years ago actually have the power to detain people and, you know,
lifeguard police powers.
Yeah. So, you know, I think that's something that's really good. But, you know, we have a problem. I just get on the radio and say, we need the cops here, and they're there. You know, and we get like overwhelming. You know, we'll have 20 guys come down. You know, bike cops and everything else. So that's something that's really, really important. You make a good point about having. Is the what do you call it? You know, the police present. Because what was the other thing you were mentioning? The interface with the town too. You know, having the administration that's really behind you.
Well, when they get it, it makes your job a lot easier, right?
And if they don't get it, that can make your job a living hell.
Oh,
I'm
totally.
sure.
And you know, I think I've been on both ends of the spectrum, but you know, I really enjoy seeing our lifeguards be part of the community. We had a monument a number of years ago for a field, and they included, you know, it's first responder monument, and they included lifeguards on it, and I was just blown away by it, because that showed me that people respect us. Because otherwise it'd just be like, yeah, whatever, they're just lifeguards, they're just here for the summertime. But to be included on that, we had a lifeguard that made a rescue back in the early 1900s. He was memorialized this summer, and his name was put on a monument forever. It says lifeguard. Like, that means a lot, you know? So the working together with the other agencies in town, because I'll tell you this, when I came to Seagirt in 96, police and lifeguards did not get along at all. And that was a top priority. Like, we got to fix this.
That's so important.
And then fire department dive teams didn't really like lifeguards, especially making after hours rescue, because that was their job. They were the dive team that was going to get pulled out or called out to make the rescue. So we tried to smooth those cogs in the wheel so that we all could just work together. The situations that happened this summer have made that, again, come to the forefront. Like, these guys have a dangerous job. We do EMS in town. The lifeguards are responding to calls in town to help the town out when if EMS takes a little while, we're down there to, help bridge the gap.
Yeah.
The more people see that, again, another level of professionalism. You're working with the police department. You walk up, they know your name. They're like, hey guys, take care of it. We're good. Like, we're just working together for the common goal of anybody that's in our town or visiting. We're just all on the same team.
And if a tragedy like this happens,
I need
no matter what, you're better off if that relationship is optimized.
Because I'm going to need them at some point.
Yeah. Some big decisions are going to have to be made, and you want to make them as quickly and smoothly as possible.
The other thing that I want to bring up too is, you talk about evolution, is that we've always had Tri-Borough, so we have
Tri-Borough EMS,
right, and now, like, on holiday, they'll be down there on the beach with their own ATV. I mean, they're ready to go. So we don't have to worry. We don't have to wait 20 minutes for somebody to come, and they're not there all the time. But when we do call them, they're right there. So coordinate all of that. I mean, I have the luxury of coordinating with the hospitals if we have an injury, but I don't think I'm anything special. I mean, you guys, you got a problem. You could call the hospital directly. We VHF radios, with the Coast Guard. I mean, so things have evolved really. I didn't think about that. All these things.
It really is amazing how on those like big September days when there's no one on the beach, how all these towns and beach patrols pool together to pull off these rescues. You'll have something going down in Seaside Park that our fire rescue team is responding
well, we go
to.
down. Yeah, we go
down.
down.
And then maybe you have lifeguards going north somewhere, but it's just we're all in communication. We're all working together.
It's not territorial. Like, get the hell off my beach.
Yeah, no, it's like, hey, come on, like we need your help.
With us. I mean, Belmar, like inlet to inlet, Belmar, Spring Lake, Seagirt, Manasquan, at some point work together on rescues. Spring Lake, Seagirt, and Manasquan are part of an after hours team. So our after hours 911 dispatch, these couple hundred lifeguards from these towns all get a page.
Really?
And they all know what's going on, and they'll respond to the call and make the rescue. And that's the whole premise of trying to keep a dive team out of the water, right? We don't want body recovery.
So expand on that, Timmy. So you guys,
after hours water rescue team.
So how does that set up? How is that set up? Like, what's the
So we have Avon, Bradley, Ocean Grove, and Neptune have one team. It's called the Answer Team. Belmar has their team called the Belmar Water Rescue. South Monmouth after hours team, the SMART team, is Spring Lake, Seagirt, and Manasquan. And we, the lifeguard chiefs have a point person, work with emergency management and the police departments. We put the list together. They're on a page out system. It goes right through 911, comes from county communications, and they'll put a page out that says swimmer in distress, Beacon Boulevard Beach, caller states victim went under. There's the note that you're going to get on your phone.
Now these are sent out to lifeguards.
Yes.
But any of these towns have a fire department rescue team?
Well, yeah. So the way we're set up is that our lifeguards go to the beach and they'll go out and make the initial rescue. We have backup from the Manasquan Fire Department because they have a fireboat that we utilize now for lifeguard operations. Like that fireboat's offshore. That fireboat pulled victims in this September. That our lifeguards swam the victims out to the boat, CPR and oxygen right away, right to the Coast Guard station. So we didn't even take them in on the beach. We utilized that asset to save somebody's life. All these pieces of the puzzle are starting to come together even better after years of trying to figure it out, that like, hey, lifeguards can be on the beach and make the rescue. Let's get the boat offshore to be the floating platform and the backup.
But let me ask you this. So these just so this is interesting. So if you get a 911, so it's your lifeguards who are not working, they're off duty.
Off duty.
So off duty.
7 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock in the morning.
So they come
September 20th.
They come running in. Do they go to the headquarters? Like, how do they just go to the beach where it's at? They get a message.
Yes.
And what about liability and anything like that?
It's part of it's a shared service agreement, like a mutual aid agreement, where they're covered up because they're doing a performance of their duty. They're covered under the joint insurance funds insurance.
They don't get paid though.
So you don't get paid. No. It's just like being involved.
Pretty interesting.
So these lifeguards that volunteer for this team, do I just have a loose can in my car?
Well, you're supposed to, like, I issue every lifeguard a can. They get a can and fins.
They get to
keep it for the summer. I get it back at the end of the year. So, the police departments all by us all have something in their car. So if you showed up and the police officer's there, at least you're going to grab it out of the back of his car and run down. So it's worked well. I mean, there's been years that we've had 25 or 30 calls throughout the summertime. And then, tied into the off season, if one beach doesn't have lifeguards on in September, but one beach does, and then another beach might be on for part of September. Like, we're all working together for the common good of just making sure that the rescue gets
really
made.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
See, but that collaboration is so
important.
There's no fire department that's doing water rescue like Seaside.
Right. We,
four-wheel drive van and the jet ski launch off the back of the truck. Like, we don't. Our guys don't have that.
Yeah. Is there a jet ski available to be launched? Or okay, so most of those rescues, are you utilizing that fire boat, or you just
the fireboat comes out
in a line, or
the fireboat comes out automatically for any rescue?
They're close to the inlet too. You got to remember that. Yeah. See, our
out the inlet.
Right. Our beach is a little different but that's, I like what you're saying though, because other beaches, who don't have a fire department, that would be very beneficial. If we didn't, we would probably have to have that. Yeah. Our fire department, those guys got, I don't know, 2 or 3 jet skis. Now we have 2 jet skis.
Together. I've seen their stuff.
Right. We have 2 jet skis. So when in September we have it ready to go. So we'll do we'll go mutual aid. So during the day, the fire department, if they get a phone call, we monitor the police radio. So we'll get the call also. So we will go, simultaneously, whoever gets there first, and or we'll send ATVs down. We go to Seaside Park. We go the other way. We could go pretty fast along the water if it's, we do that. So, but that's an interesting thing. But we don't have lifeguards off call because I really don't think, because of the fire department, they really take that
Yours is set up differently.
Yeah, they're really good. But I like
Jersey,
that.
Ocean City, Cape May, they have after hours teams.
Wow. I didn't. That's good. That's
what happened the weekend in September this year, right?
Yeah, 2 drown. Yeah, and then
and multiple drownings, multiple rescues. I mean, and we were red flag, and we had a gentleman almost drown with his family. They went swimming on a beach where there were no lifeguards because he said, "I want to go swimming, so I'm going to go to a different beach," and he almost drowned.
As a chief of a beach patrol, what do you do to try to educate the public as best you can? Because that's obviously one of the hardest parts of our job.
So you brought it up earlier, like social media is huge, right? You have your Instagram page, links in the Facebook. We have a text message program that goes out every day with conditions that, people can sign up for. We've got a website now, safebeachday.com/Seagirt. Like you can go on and you can see every lifeguard tower, what the flag status is. You can see the conditions. You can see the surf line forecast on there, the wave height, the water temperature, the forecast. I can put a note in there every day. There's a QR code at every entranceway. So you could come on with this is the intent. We hope people do it. You come on with your phone and says, hey, for daily conditions, scan here. You scan your QR code and you're literally looking at a map right now of Seagirt. And you say, oh, that stand's open. That stand's closed. That stand's surfing.
Wow.
That's
amazing.
So again, it's technology that's moving.
Is that
forward.
Is that an app, you guys, or is that you own developed in
No, it's through a company in California that we do all our reporting now is electronic file. No more daily record cards. Everybody, we have iPads. The supervisors get them. The guys have them on their phone. They fill out their daily report, their activity, their rescues, their assists, their workouts. I mean, they're supposed to do it. Not everybody does it. It's a constant babysitting problem we have. But
it's like when I was in middle school, I would never get my planner signed.
Yeah. It's not doing your homework is what it is, But the intent is to get as much information from their day as possible. You and I sat together, and you went to lunch, and I had 2 rescues, and I went to lunch, and you had a heart attack and 3 rescues, and you went back and filled the card out, and you did nothing all day. You know what you wrote on the card? Nothing
happened.
Nothing happened. We missed 5 rescues and a CPR. So now it's all done electronically, and that company.
What's the name of that company, by the way?
Watchtower. Yeah, and there's 12 beaches in New Jersey right now that are using their electronic data collection.
We'll put that in our thing. We got to.
Tremendous.
We should have a show.
It's tremendous.
We should talk about that. We should bang on it.
It's data collection.
I like that.
I'm not sitting there doing hash marks every day at my desk. I mean, with all due respect, my time's more valuable. I could just print the report out. I can send it to the administrator in a second.
Yeah,
all our incident reports are done.
On a day-to-day operations basis, what are you really hands-on down on the beach?
I am,
yeah.
I have 4 zones, 4 lieutenants. I set the schedule every day. I do the assignments. And then I have a quick morning meeting with the staff. It's most every day we sit and just talk right after the guys leave headquarters, and we set whatever training we're going to do, or tournament practice, or junior guards is going on, so we got to wait an hour until the guards get done with that, because our guards are integral. Some junior guard programs are like rec programs. It's like fun time. Our junior guard program is legitimate lifeguard training for these kids. It's not. We want them to be trained to be lifeguards.
Ours is I'm one of the head counselors for our junior lifeguard program. It's similar, but we do have more of a fun side as well for like the younger kids, where a lot of the kids are there to have fun, but we do consistently move lifeguards up.
I'm not saying we don't have fun. I'm just saying it's very structured towards lifeguarding.
Timmy, I want to ask you another question, but we're gonna. I'm getting tired. You guys are, but this is great. I mean, this is really good. Do you guys do risk management assessments every year, like going forward? So in other words, you sit down and go, okay, this jetty's this, or we're anticipating, we're gonna have a concert here. I mean, is there any kind of like because like some beaches used to do that. They actually have a risk management report. They give it to the administration. Do you guys do that at all? Or
I would have to say, tying into being actively involved in what goes on, that we are doing that almost on a daily basis. And we really are. And, we have a couple of enclosed lifeguard towers now. We have, our lifeguard stands are different than your guys. They're a little bigger. They don't move. They sit in place. That was a risk management thing. I had lifeguards getting their backs hurt. They were flipping over.
Gotcha.
The stands were breaking.
Gotcha.
Every time they dropped them, the thing wanted to fall apart. It fell on a person one time. let's just eliminate this. Let's just make it more of a platform that is set in place. So the guy can go to work
seen them,
with a radio and a cup of coffee, walk up the ramp, and he's ready to go to work.
Oh, how nice that would be. How nice it would be to not have to carry that damn
16-year-old kids dragging
a
a 500-pound stand. They're going to kill themselves. So, but I think from the risk management side, especially.
Well, just stop for 1 second. So how do you deal with the stand that's, I mean, they do, like during the season, you get beach that builds up.
We drag it.
So if it's maybe like every 2 weeks or something.
About every 2 weeks.
Right. Now, during the day with high tide and low tide, do you move them at all?
Nope,
No.
it's set.
Just set, and you keep it in one spot.
Set on the top of the crest.
Yeah.
That's what your binos are for.
So,
I like that idea.
With the truck will pull it, or we have a winch on the ATV, they'll move it. But I trust my staff immensely. Many of them, one of them is my brother, who's a senior lieutenant, and the other guys that are lieutenants and sergeants. Again, we just work so well together that this risk management question is just done on such a constant, ever-flowing basis. It's not like, okay, we got through the summer, and then we do have this conversation too. What do we want to do different for next year? But it's not like we have to sit there and rattle our brains, because we've been doing it all along. And we've changed our operation every year, one way or the other. I put lifeguard stands in different places. We added another beach last year, and this year we spread the surfing areas out. Instead of having the stand, directly east where the guy's got to look left and right, now I moved it a little bit more to the right. I pull the people away from the outflow pipe. Then I got them in a safer area, and the guy's looking on a 45. So he's got a better vantage
strategy.
And he can see up the rest of the beach.
He can see up the rest of the beach instead of.
So this is an end stand we're talking.
An end stand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
when just different things, and then it really goes into.
I like that.
It really goes into the training as well, because at some point we are training somebody different today than we did yesterday or last year. And going into next summer, don't you think 2 of the topics on there are going to be lifeguard, lightning safety and helmet use, or boat safety, or whatever? They're just going to come to the forefront that much more. So
I think at the end of the day, every move you make as a leader on a beach patrol is a risk management kind of thing. How much thought do you put into how you group your lifeguards on the stand? Are you going, on a really busy beach? Are you going to throw 2 really senior guys or girls down there, and then put maybe the less experienced towards the middle of the beach? How do you?
So I answer that a couple ways. When I worked in Belmar, I worked 18th Avenue, or that was one of the beaches that I worked before I got moved into administration. I worked 18th Avenue. I sat with the same 5 guys every single day. By July, half of us wanted to kill each other, and the other half, whatever. So, but we always sat together, and we didn't know the guys at 3rd Avenue or 4th Avenue, or you might get a guy sent to you for the day, and you're like, who the hell's this guy? So one thing I did when I came to Seagirt in '96 was to have everybody come to headquarters to meet in the morning, so we all know how you are, what you're doing, what you smell like, whatever.
I think that's huge.
We have a morning meeting. Quick couple words. They get their radios, they get their assignment, and by ordinance, we're not technically on duty until 9:15. So they've got that window to kind of get to their beach and get set up. It says 9 to 5, but it's people think 9 to 5, but it's 9:15 in Seagirt. You come to headquarters, you have your morning meeting. I'll put the assignments on the board. Yes, the conditions play into it 100%. Yes, there are some guys that probably sit the same stand most of the time, because I know I've got a senior guy, or possibly we're very family friendly. Most of our supervisors have kids. These little kids are running around lifeguard headquarters. In 10 years, they're going to be lifeguards. Like, that's how I grew up.
Yeah,
it's the best. It literally is the best. And look, and there's a time for them to not be there. They're not there.
Yeah.
But in the morning or afternoon, or when we're closing up, they're having a great time.
That's I got my granddaughter there.
I was telling him before the show how Ava's always running around,
it's
climbing up on the lifeguard stand.
To grow up under that, when I was a junior lifeguard, my job in 1974, 75, and 76 was to go get my dad a soda and bring it back, and that was my junior lifeguard job. But so we set the assignments. Yes, based off of conditions. We do spread the rookies out. They don't sit 2 together ever, unless we're just totally in a situation where we don't have a choice. And we do try to go like, senior, middle, lesser, like that. But I also believe that we have to trust our staff to handle a situation. Meaning, you know what? You might be a 1st or 2nd year guy. I'm going to stick you on Brooklyn today. The surf's ripping. I'm going to put you at the Army camp where there's 6,000 people on the beach, and they can drink on that beach. They can have parties. They can have picnics on the National Guard Training Center beach. I'm going to put you down there because you're going to work and you're going to do a good job. And I trust you, but we're going to supervise you. I'm not just giving you the keys to the castle and saying you're on your own.
And I'm sure you're picky about when you put a guy or a girl in that situation. Like, are they ready
for it? Guy or girl,
it?
in my opinion, doesn't matter at all. I mean,
no, I didn't mean a guy or a girl. I was just a lifeguard. A lifeguard is what I meant to say.
Certain people will sit certain beaches. Yes.
Yeah.
Again, there's certain little nuance, you know. I got one guy that has 4 kids. It's easier for him to be in the north end of town. I don't care. Sit in the north end of town. Do whatever you want to do.
What is it about north ends that are always the lighter?
I want to make a point. I want to make a
north end is where.
Yeah, I want to make a point
about more local
about Tyler, because and I don't want to bring this down, our conversation to get too sober, but the drowning that was last summer, you did mutual aid down on Lavalette.
Yes.
So he was there when
I was there for that.
Yeah. So Tyler's been around too, and so he understands the significance of having good people in good positions. But I just wanted to throw that out because Tyler he may look young and everything, but he
gets it.
He gets in. He's seen, a lot of these. That's the thing about, lifeguarding too, and about, how you move assets around. We should have a show about just about that,
Yeah.
But the thing that I wanted to bring up is that, as these, you got to give them responsibility. You got to, like we do North Beach. I want to go down, but I send them. I want to go down, but I have to pull myself back. I want to make a rescue, right? How many times do I sit on the stand? I'm like, go, and I've done thousands. I don't need to do any more, but so that it's good. And from you and I, like supervisors, we got to send them down and we got to give them the responsibility so they learn.
We had 2 CPR calls in 23 hours.
Wow.
The same beach in the same spot.
Wow.
Oof.
The first guy that wants to jump down and do compressions is me.
Yeah.
But on the first CPR call, I step back, and it's actually on body cam. You can see me. I step back because I trust those guys.
Yeah,
you guys got to do it. And you know what? It changed those lifeguards' lives forever because they were actually physically doing something that we talk and preach and push. Training, evolution. You got to be ready. You actually did it. And you got a chance to do it instead of them saying, well, Tim pushed me out of the way and I didn't get a chance to do anything.
And
they did it. I think it happened again the next day.
I think that's a big step as a leader, is to
let go
of that control. Yeah.
I'm a control freak
because
I'm looking into the camera right now.
There are and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, just the stages of learning the job. You start out, you're a rookie, you know nothing, you're crazy excited. It's the best thing ever. Then you have that 2-3 year period where you're cocky and you think you know what's going on, but something slaps you in the face.
Second yearitis.
Then you start to get into that leadership role. And one of the parts of that is saying I trust the training I've been given and I trust the training I've given these younger lifeguards. I'm going to let them do it because you talked about, you don't have time to be doing all the meticulous, paperwork stuff or whatever, updating a website, because your eyes need to be on the water, because at the end of the day, you want the most experienced eyes watching the water and delegating those jobs out.
So I said this earlier, I only know one way, and it's just because it's the way I was taught and my dad and following this lineage of lifeguarding that I've been involved in and been lucky to. I know how my dad felt probably back in 1985 or 6 when I worked on his beach in Belmar as his rookie, and I had to listen to my dad. Now, I watched him growing up the whole time because I was chomping at the bit, ready to go. And I'm sure I was a pain in the ass. And of course I knew it all and I didn't want to listen to him probably all the time. It benefited me to be moved to another beach in Belmar because I learned just a whole nother set, right? And
yeah.
Dad was down in the north end. Now my son's working for me this year and I completely been flipped 360 around.
You're like, oh, Dad, I get it now.
I wish he was here to see it, but yeah, he would say, I told you so. But, I have to let my nephew and my son and some of these other kids that have just seen grow up, they're almost like my children anyway. You've got to let them go and make some mistakes and hopefully not get disciplined and hopefully nothing tragic happens, but they will figure it out. And I'm proud of our staff and I'm just speaking on behalf, but I know that you guys probably feel the same in Seaside, is that you have the pieces of the puzzle for everybody to be successful with the right training.
I like what you just said about making mistakes, because
you got to make them.
When one of the things I'm tasked with on our beach is a lot of the rookies get sent to my stand on the north end where things are a little lighter and there's more time to take your time and teach them the job. And one of the first things I always say to these kids is, I'll give them a half hour and I'll say, the stand's yours for the next half hour. I want you to make calls. I want you to make a mistake. And if it was wrong, I'll tell you. But you're not going to be able to see this water until you start making decisions on your own. And like you said, those mistakes are actually important.
Yeah. So see, the north end, just so you know, our north end is a little bit mellower. South end is where there's some people come to Seaside. They don't know that there's this north end. So, so it's a rougher crowd. So we do sort of send, if you can't, we'll bring you up to South End. And if you screw up, you go back. Like we said, if you, I don't think you get sent anymore, but well, but that's what, but getting back with, with what you're just saying is about the rookies. And see, people ask me, why do you keep lifeguarding? What are things that you really like about it? And you can answer this. I take a kid like this who comes on the beach. He's 16 years old.
I was 19.
And but and all the years and these kids, we still get them. They'll call up, or I'll see them somewhere, and they light up. I was at somewhere with my wife, and and last time I saw this guy, he had black hair, now he's got gray hair, and he comes up, he goes, Kachmar, and he's like, he lit up like we were years ago, and his family was over there, so that's what I enjoy. Bringing these guys and I try to teach them as much as I can, and I try to give them as much responsibility as they can take, and that's what we love doing.
Yeah,
about it,
the intensity of it.
Now I got my granddaughter, and she's like, I had her on the stand with him. They had a fight. She went to another lifeguard stand because but she swims out in the buoys with me. I mean, she's 8 years old and she's going out and so you're
bringing her up the best way.
And she hangs around the headboard stand. Yeah, and like you now think about it, your son's the second, your dad, then you, then him. Yeah. And probably go on after that. That's an amazing thing. Listen, I'm getting tired. We're going like
we can go all night. We'll do 3 hours.
No, we can. But listen, I gotta operate tomorrow morning, so I gotta get home. Listen, this has been great.
We love the job we do.
Well, you got an invite back here anytime you want to go. And next, sometimes it's good just to free float, not have anything. I usually try to have on our whiteboard some things we want to talk about for the first half hour.
There was no script tonight.
No. Sometimes it's better that way. You could fly. And but
the job has evolved to what it is today, and it's much different than it was when he started and when I started. And I don't think I'd ever want to go back to those ways, because where we are today as lifeguards and how we're perceived in the public is how I would want to be.
And
as a true professional and somebody that's, saving a life.
Right. And that's
not down there screwing around.
No. And that's why I think what we're doing here with this show is so important, because, as time we get on, more people come on here and we get more well-known. We're passing information that is so interesting. And we're going to get, some older individuals in here talk about the past. So I just learned, stuff. We're going to find out about, where the Hankins and the Belts, where that
I say this all the time, and I said this to you before the show. My favorite part of doing this is just the rich culture that we're slowly uncovering and learning new things every day.
Right.
There's a lot of history in New Jersey. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Before we go, do you want to talk about your restaurant real quick? Do you want to get it out there?
The Lifeguard. The boathouse was used to be called the Rescue in Belmar, and
I was there many times years ago.
It was a lifeguard bar that had all the memorabilia, and then it changed hands a couple times, and some of the memorabilia was saved, some of it I'm sure disappeared. But when my brother and I decided to enter the restaurant business back then, we just, again, the only thing we knew was lifeguard theme. Like we want to bring the rescue.
It's a great
back.
idea.
And seems like every idea I have comes back to something lifeguard related.
Yeah. It's been fun. It's a stressful profession. There's no doubt about it. Different than lifeguarding.
And you said earlier you have the boat hanging from the ceiling.
Hankins in the ceiling. Yeah, upside down.
So cool.
Yeah, but it's good because it's a good meeting place, and it's nice to see. Just one point I want to make at the end is because you talked about how you run the beach, is one of the joys for me is to watch it all unfold and knowing that you're not really doing much. I'm able to sit up on headquarters, watch a rescue go on, watch the backup come, watch the radio calls, listen to the radio calls, watch all the action, and know that like they got it. They did it.
And
I'm just
like you said, those gears, that well-oiled machine. It's a beautiful thing when it just clicks into place.
We've got a good group of people, and I think every beach patrol that I know of takes pride in what they do. One way or the other, they might do it a little differently, but the pride in being a lifeguard and doing what you do is evident along the Jersey Shore, because I'm very familiar with just about every agency, especially, municipal ones or city ones, bigger ones. And fortunate to have some friends up and down this coast that you can pick the phone up and ask a question to on a moment's notice. That's making me better and them better some way out of the question.
You make a good point, because I usually go visit the different beach patrols, and I don't see any, like, I mean, maybe the tiny, but even them, I don't see any like slouch. I don't see everything. You can't be that anymore. You can't be a half-assed beach patrol. No. I mean, I go to State Park. I mean, wherever I go, I mean, because I'll go down to Seaside Park, I'll run the boardwalk, and I always, at least once a year, go stop by and say hello to those guys. I mean, they run a unbelievable, organization. The new beaches that are in between, they're Candlewood. I don't know how good they are, but I know that we go down and I talk to the staff all the time. Say, listen, we cover them, because we got them on our South Beach, and then the North End, there's the private beaches, West End. But I'm just saying is that all the beaches, the level that they are today in these days. I mean,
everyone's really got their shit together.
Mean, for the most part. I mean, there's some, here and there, but like any beach, like your beach, our beach. I mean, there's differences, but with level to equipment and how you run it, but everybody's at that high level of professionalism, which is really so good.
To the point of everybody being on a higher level, it's when a death or a tragic incident happens to these, 2A beach. Everybody felt it last year. I mean, everybody felt it. You could not help just look at things so much differently the second that happened. And again, I look at my own child and my son and be like, oh my God, this could happen to him in his split second. So we've got to make positive changes out of something like that.
I can tell you,
and we'll be better for it next year.
What's going to happen is every mother and father who's sending their kids to the beach, if they hear about that, they're going to be concerned now. And so we're going to have to reassure them that, we're going to be on top of it, that we're going to protect those kids. And that's, for us as supervisors.
And as a person in a leadership role and a father of a lifeguard, you are in a unique position to maybe comfort those parents. I
don't want to make that phone call.
No.
And there might be some unpopular changes to our policies and procedures for the safety of that individual or those individuals that are maybe in that situation. Let's just use the boat for an example. But I know that we're gonna be better from the tragedy. And I'm just speaking for my own agency.
It's what we do. We change. We get better. We learn from our mistakes. You evolve.
Yeah, well, let's evolve.
Let's tweak the process.
Let's evolve out of here. I'm starting to fade, guys. I'm tired.
Thank you for letting me come on.
No. Listen, I'm so.
Tim, this was amazing.
We really want
fun.
No, we really want it. We invite you back. Like I said, this is, I've been doing the medical thing, but this lifeguard thing is something new, and we got a lot of people watching us already, and now starting people want to come on to the show.
Joe Casino, who came and gave me your number. Yeah. You got to call him. You got to go on the show.
Joe wants to come on too. Joe's like, because he's got that Red Bull, video. So we're going to put that up here, and we'll have him in here, and we'll get me and Jackie.
Seagirt won the Red Bull competition the first year.
Yeah.
Won that first year.
The other one, awesome. The other one I want to get in here is, and he's like an old cantankerous guy, but Joe Casino and what's his name? They rode the boat together, and I can't. It'll come to me. They're on National Geographic.
Where's he work?
Gary Azzolini. Oh. So if you look at in a van, they were in a Hankins, and they're going up a wave, and it was on National Geographic, the front page. They did a special on them, and it was Gary Azzolini, and Joe Casino. And I want to bring them in and show that. I mean, that was a pretty neat picture.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was, if they was doing some tournament. But
have you seen a picture of Captain Boyd? Yeah, riding the wave on Surfer Magazine.
Surfer Magazine. That's right.
Yeah.
He used to
on the transit.
So that was John. It was Junie. So Junie, who was John's brother, he used to ride waves, and he would he knew how to pick the day, but he would just use his body English. So what he was doing is one day he would just stand up on the stern of the boat and just like surf it with no oar. And he would, and he was pretty good at it. And they came down to photograph it. And there's a picture in Surf Magazine.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like a little chubby guy, and he's got the white shirt. I don't know if it says lieutenant or assistant captain. I think he was assistant captain, riding the wave, and it was pretty neat. So that's what I grew up with. So those guys, and it was
that's
amazing.
Our lineage.
Yeah. Our lineage.
The Boyds.
The Boyds are historic lineage. I mean.
Yeah. I work with John and Junie, and I didn't know Joe. Joe passed away, but I had, Bob Omar was one of our, officers. So anyway, listen, we had a great time. It's getting late. I want to pack it in. We got a lot more shows to do. I just want to say, Friday, we're probably going to do a show with Al Ayers. So hopefully, that'll be good. We invite you back here for sure.
Appreciate it.
And no, it was really good. And, anything you want to say, Tyler?
Tim, thank you. We've been trying to get someone serious in here for a while, and this is a perfect
serious
first go at that. So we really, really, really appreciate it. This is awesome.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, so we're ready. So everyone,
Lifeguards for life, right?
Yeah.
So again, my name is Dr.
One
Michael
big family.
Kachmar. You want to get a hold of us? Put it up there, Tyler. Dr. Kachmar.
Don't call me Jeremy.
No, don't call it. Dr. Kachmar. That's my other sidekick. Dr. Kachmar at Comcast. Excuse me, Dr. Kachmar at iCloud.com. Give us a shout on there.
Jersey Shore Foot Lake Center.
And so you want to
check us out on Instagram at lg.association.
So you don't know, but we say this every night when we're on our speakers. So we get everybody to water, and we say it here.
Yeah, you gotta go. Stay out, stay alive.
Stay out, stay alive. Stay out, stay alive. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice night.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.